Hey guys, welcome to the Birddoggin podcast. I'm your host, Jared Moss. I got Mr. Jordan Hoyt that's with me this evening. Welcome. We're glad you're here. We're glad you're dropping in. If you're on just listening to the audio on the podcast, welcome as well. We're going to be talking all things bird dogs, from hunting to training, everything in between. So appreciate you for listening. Enjoy the show. So Jordan, I want to chat real quick about the dog thermostat, because this is a concept that was brought to my attention forever ago. I know you ran into it with Maurice Lindley, looking deep diving into Maurice. Steve Reese brought it to my attention a long time ago, and it's such a simple concept, but it helps me understand kind of what my dog's thinking, and it also helps me as a trainer go, oh man, I got to slow down, or I got to figure out a way to get into that dog's head and help him calm down and focus. So the end goal here is like have a dog. We all kind of want to have that dog that comes in the house and is just chill, lays on the floor mat. Hey man, we're having a barbecue, and the dog's like, cool, and he's just hanging out, right? And then you go to the field and you flip him out and you tell him hunt him up, and it's like, boom, all of a sudden he's a linebacker and he's gone, smash and cover and look out. So when this was first brought up to me, it was like, okay, Jared, here's a lot of pointing dogs, versatile breeds, a whole bunch of different type of versatile breeds that have been bred to work, seek, hunt, find. They're kind of always on, right? And so, like a GSP, for example, comes out of the womb like a 6. The German wire hair is like a 7. The Vizsla is maybe a 5, whatever. And what I mean by that is like 0 is asleep on the couch, 10 is out in the field rocking and rolling, all the cylinders firing. And when it was brought to my attention with Dave, it was like, okay, because I remember calling Dave one day and I'm like, Dave, it's day 40 and these dogs are just quitting on me. And he's like, what do you mean? They're quitting on you? And then he started breaking things down. And one of the things he brought to my attention was, and in his seminars, he did this really good too. He's like, okay, we're going to go out here and work a set of 3 birds. The first bird, we're going to go out there and work. The dog's already 5 or 6 because we're in this seminar setting. Going to go out there, point a bird, and he's going to go up to a 10. And between that first bird and the second bird, we're going to do what he called the homework, which is our 4 pillars today. And we're going to do some come go with me a little bit. And then I'm going to do a stand. I'm going to stop and whoa the dog. And I would watch Dave walk those dogs out there, slam on point, flush the bird. The dog was like hitting the end of the cord, wanted to go get it. And sometimes he would send him for retrieve. And a lot of times he'd just let him watch it land and then go to the next one. Between bird 1 and bird 2, he would take that dog and do those drills, and I'd watch that dog go from a 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and then Dave would go and engage that second bird. And I was like, holy cow, you talk about watching my hands and watching stuff. For me, that was like lightning in a bottle, because I was like, that is completely opposite of what I normally do. What I normally do is I do all my obedience work, and then we go over here and work birds. And it's like bird 1, bird 2, bird 3, and the dog's at 20 and he's off the chart. And I'm like, that a boy, birds are awesome. And put him back on the stakeout or put him in the truck. And what I was literally teaching that dog is like, go seek, find, hunt for yourself. And when you're jacked up through the roof, we're done. Let's go home. And then you would drop a dog to go hunting, and guess what he does? See ya. He's just out to
Yep.
hunt for himself. And so I watched Dave take these dogs, go to a 10, come back to a 2. Go to another bird, go to a 10, come back to a 2. Go to another bird, 10, 2. Walk back to the gallery with everybody there at a 2. Hand the dog back to the guy, and the dog was put away at a 2. And I sat back in my lawn chair and I was like, whoa, the dog community is missing this. At this point, I'd been trained for 10, 15 years, and I'd never even seen anybody do that. And I was like, what the? I was missing that. So when you saw Dog Thermostat and you heard about it, like, what did you think?
Yeah, it was to me. It was. I mean, outside of the leather training collar and the simplicity of working it, I say simplicity of working it. You have to learn it, but that was the thing that resonated right off the bat for me. I was like, oh, what you're doing is you're learning. You're teaching a dog how to turn that thermostat up and down, and when you do that and you turn it down, they're learning, and when you
Right.
turn it up, they're going 100 miles an hour after the birds like you want them to, but then you bring it back down.
Right.
And then obviously you start to learn like how you can teach the dog thermostat, whether it's place training to teach them to be calm. It's funny. I get the question all the time. It's like, man, when is a GSP going to calm down? When are they going to stop being crazy? I'm like, well, it's when you teach them. It's
Yeah.
when you teach them that thermostat, and that's really what it is. It's funny. It's funny that you saw Dave do
You know
that.
what the public's answer to that is? Oh,
What?
he's going to grow out of that.
Yeah, that's not.
That's bullshit.
That's
That's
bullshit.
complete
Yeah,
bullshit.
that's
They don't
bullshit.
grow out of it. They grow out of
Mm-mm.
it when they're 9. And you're like, oh, I love my dog. How old is he? He's 8.5. And I'm like, so you dealt with 8 years of BS because you just didn't know about the dog thermostat.
Yeah, I can take my 10-month-old German Shorthair Pointer and I can place her on a live on TikTok for 5 hours. I've done it multiple times, and then I can take her and put a bird in front of her and start working her, and she's a 10. Like
10. Yep.
it's as easy as that. It's not as easy as that, but it's as easy as understanding that you can do that.
Yes.
You talk about Dave and you seeing Dave do that. I got fortunate enough to be thrown into that kind of in learning that lesson in real time from you and
Yeah.
Utah, and it was by far the best thing that I learned at that seminar.
Right.
Um, just slowing down, and ever since then, my training sessions have been so much better because I learned like, hey, why am I going 100 miles an hour? And then, all right, we're done. Like, let's slow down here. Let's take if you're gonna rep the big four or the four that you do, the foundation four that you do, it doesn't mean you have to rep them before you go do birds. You can
No.
rep some, do birds, rep some in between, do birds, rep some, do in between, and you're just teaching that dog up and down, up and
Up.
down. People like to call it the on and off switch. I think it's more than on and off. It's a scale from 1 to 10. It's a dial that you're teaching
Yes.
them. It's a phenomenal thing for people to learn, and I think it resonates with people when you tell people about it. They're like, "Oh, that makes a lot of sense." I think
Right.
that's one of the best things that you've carried on and told people about and made people understand.
The one thing that I tell a lot of people, and I did this morning too, was like I was working with Eric and his dog, and I'm like, look, Eric, when Maple's at a 7, we're she's so focused high drive on the bird, we're not going to try and teach sit in the middle of that. And he's like, well, yeah, duh. And I'm like, so that's what I'm trying to get you to understand is we're going to turn the dog up and then we're going to turn him down, turn him up, turn him down, turn him. And a lot of the old school saying was like, just keep the dog in the kennel and you only hunt him, you don't bring him into your house because if we teach him how to be a 1 or 2 in the house, the old school mentality was then in the field he'll be a 5 is all. He just won't have that 7, 8, 9, 10 go get it grit. And that's simply not true because what we've learned because of where we're at in 2025, we can have a dog that can be a 2 in the house, sit by the fire, hang out, eat barbecue, and as soon as we put the e-collar on and say hunt him up, the dog goes from sitting by my side, being my buddy, to full on athlete. Look out, I'm gonna rock star it. And so
Yeah,
you can have both. It's a simple way of you have to train it in, and the leather training collar and the 4 pillars is how you get there. All of that comes together, and the dog goes, "Oh, cool, I get it." Now you
yeah,
want me to. Right now, you shake the buckle, ask me to whoa. You're asking me to have a calm and focused mind and not move my feet. And in that moment, that's the hardest thing for that working dog to do.
yeah.
Is if you can
And
teach a
it,
dog to sit down and be bored or stand and be bored, then here's a perfect example. I trained a dog for a lady in Alaska who was in the Air Force, and she's like, "Can you just send the dog back?" I'm like, "Absolutely not." She's like, "I don't have time to come down there and see you." And I said, "Well, that was part of our agreement when you sent your dog to me, was you're going to fly down here and pick up the dog, and you and I are going to spend a half a day." So begrudgingly, she came, and I just went right to it. I said, "Ma'am, I want you to stand right there, and I'm going to show you my 4 pillars." And I did come go with me, and then I shook the buckle and stopped. And in the middle of that dog cruising, I went ding, and he stopped, and I worked a circle around him. And you know how I do it, nice and slow. Went back in, slow pet, double tap, released him, and that lady melted. She was like, Jared, I have never seen my dog ever do that. In his whole
mhm.
3 years of life, I've never seen him just stand there and be like relaxed and calm and focused. And she's like, that was worth every bit of my plane ticket and every bit of money I trained you with. That 1 minute when you did that drill.
Yeah, and it translates to the field great. You talk about it with me. We've talked about it. when you're working dogs in the field, you need to do the same thing. You need to bring them back down in between birds, bring them back down in between pushes, not just throw them back in a crate and give them water or whatever. You need to slow them back down. And you talk about the water bottle trick where maybe in between a couple birds, you stop, give your dog a water bottle, you pull out beef jerky or trail mix or whatever you have in your pouch,
Right.
eat that, take a break. Because it's the dog thermostat is funny because the more and more I learn it, the more and more I realize that it's also a thermostat for me. That I need to slow down, that I need to take a break. Because you're right, you get up there and you're doing your heart's pounding birds. Oh my gosh, like this dog just did this. Like that's so cool to see. But then you gotta bring yourself and your dog back down to be
No doubt.
successful. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to learn more about the thermostat and how all this kind of works into the method, keep following the podcast. Shoot us some questions on social media. Jordan's constantly going live on TikTok, and you can watch. And it's funny. The biggest question he gets is like, "Is that a GSP? It's just laying
Every
there.
time.
Like, how the heck does that work?" Because my dog's bouncing off the walls, and he has been for the past 9.5 hours since he woke up this morning. And it's like it's so fun to watch. But really, all of that's in the online course. Go grab the online course, and you will watch us take dogs. In that course, I take dogs from 4 months to 8 months of age, and you watch them learn how to become all this pup. In the beginning, it's that puppy bouncing around, and then you know in the course, it's a matter of a couple hours, but it's a month of work, and you watch that dog just learn the thermostat and learn that. It's kind of like an underlining message through the whole program,
Yeah,
right? Is
it really
learning
is.
how to teach that dog how to do that. And your
Mm-hmm.
wife's gonna love you too, because if you can bring the dog in the house and turn that short hair that came out of the womb as a 6'7", we need to teach him how to be a 2'3" in the house. Completely different dynamic with your dog in your home.
Yeah, yeah. Then maybe you'll convince them to get another pup one day. You know.
Hey, appreciate you all for listening to the Birddoggin podcast. If you have any questions or would like any more information, reach out at bestgundogs.com, or you can reach me at my social media, most active on Instagram at bestgundogs. And keep listening. Appreciate y'all.